Think about the last time someone said sorry to you. Not the kind of apology that made your heart feel lighter. Not the kind where you could feel regret in their voice. Not the kind where their behavior changed afterward. I mean the other kind. The apology that sounded correct but felt empty. The apology that came only after you stopped talking. The apology that appeared only when they realized you were pulling away. The apology that did not heal anything. It only made you feel confused, because somehow, after they said sorry, you were still the one feeling guilty. You were still the one explaining. You were still the one trying to prove that what they did actually hurt. And that is the dark lesson hidden inside every fake apology. A fake apology is not always an apology. Sometimes it is a way to end the conversation without changing the behavior. Sometimes it is a way to make you look unforgiving. Sometimes it is a way to reopen the door they damaged. And sometimes it is not regret at all. It is control wearing polite words. If this is your first time on The Hidden Hurts, subscribe right now and turn on the bell. This channel is about the pain people hide, the patterns people repeat, and the truths about human behavior that most people only understand after they have been hurt. Subscribe now, because if this topic already feels personal, this video is going to explain something you may have felt for years but never had words for. Let's begin with the first truth. A real apology makes space for your pain. A fake apology tries to erase it. Read that again slowly. A real apology says, I hurt you and I want to understand the damage. A fake apology says, I already said sorry. Why are you still talking about it? That one sentence reveals everything, because a person who is truly sorry does not rush your healing. They do not get angry because you are still hurt. They do not act like their apology is a magic word that should instantly remove the wound. But a fake apology is impatient. It wants forgiveness immediately. It wants access immediately. It wants everything to return to normal before your heart has even understood what happened. And that is why fake apologies feel so disturbing. They do not feel like repair. They feel like pressure. Think about someone who hurt you, then said sorry in a cold voice. No emotion, no responsibility, no understanding, just the word, sorry. And after saying it, they looked at you like the matter was closed, as if your pain had an expiry date, as if their one word was supposed to cancel everything they did. And when you were still hurt, they made you feel like the problem. They said, I already apologized. They said, what else do you want from me? They said, you never let things go. They said, you always bring up the past. But listen carefully. Sometimes you are not bringing up the past. You are bringing up a pattern that never ended. That is different. A fake apology wants you to treat a repeated behavior like a single mistake. It wants you to forget that this has happened before. It wants you to ignore the fact that the apology sounds familiar because you have heard it many times. Same words, same face, same promise, same result. And every time you tried to believe them, because you are not a cruel person. You did not want to hold anger. You did not want to become bitter. You wanted to give them another chance. But good people often make one dangerous mistake. They believe that an apology means a person has changed. It does not. An apology is only a door. Behavior decides whether that door leads to healing or back into the same pain. Type, words are not enough in the comments if you have ever accepted an apology that changed nothing, because many people watching this have been there. You accepted the apology. You softened your heart. You opened the door again. And after a few days or a few weeks, the same behavior returned. The same disrespect, the same coldness, the same lies, the same jokes that cut too deep, the same silence, the same betrayal. And then, when you reacted, they apologized again. This is how fake apologies become a cycle. Hurt, apology, access, repeat, hurt, apology, access, repeat. And slowly, you stop asking, are they sorry? You start asking, am I foolish for believing them again? But you are not foolish. You are hopeful. And hope is beautiful in the right hands. But in the wrong hands, your hope becomes a tool someone uses to keep returning without growing. This is the second dark lesson. Some people do not apologize because they understand your pain. They apologize because they understand they might lose access to you. There is a big difference. When they feel you pulling away, suddenly they know the right words. Suddenly their voice becomes softer. Suddenly they remember how much you mean to them. Suddenly they say everything you wanted to hear months ago. But ask yourself one honest question. Why did they only understand after you were leaving? Why did they only become gentle after you became distant? Why did they only respect your pain when your silence started threatening their access? That is not always remorse. Sometimes that is fear. Fear of losing control, fear of losing comfort, fear of losing the person who kept forgiving. A fake apology often appears at the exact moment a manipulative person realizes their old behavior is no longer working. They do not miss your heart. They miss your availability. They do not regret the wound. They regret the consequence. And if you cannot tell the difference, you will keep confusing emotional panic with love. A person can cry because they are losing you and still not be sorry for hurting you. A person can beg for another chance and still not have the character to protect that chance. A person can say, "I never meant to hurt you," while continuing to do the same thing that hurts you. That is why changed behavior is the only apology you can trust. Not perfect behavior, no one is perfect, but different behavior. Careful behavior, responsible behavior. Behavior that proves they remembered your pain even when you were no longer arguing about it. Because real regret has memory. Real regret does not need to be reminded every week. Real regret says, "I know this hurts you, so I will not keep doing it." Fake regret says, "Why are you still upset about this?" Pause this video in your mind for a second. Think of the apology that hurt more than the original mistake. The one that made you feel small. The one where they said sorry, but somehow you felt accused. The one where their tone said, "Can we finish this now?" The one where you realized they were not trying to understand you. They were trying to escape responsibility. That feeling is not random. Your heart knows when an apology is only performance. Your body knows when someone's words do not match their energy. That heavy feeling in your chest, that doubt in your stomach, that strange shame after the conversation. That is your inner alarm telling you, this apology did not touch the truth. Like this video if you have ever received a sorry that sounded right but felt wrong. Because that is one of the most painful experiences in human relationships. The world sees the apology and thinks the issue is solved, but you know it is not solved. Because the words arrived, but the understanding did not. The apology came, but the pattern stayed. And when the pattern stays, the apology becomes decoration on top of disrespect. Now let's talk about one of the most dangerous fake apologies. "I'm sorry you feel that way." This sentence sounds polite. It even sounds mature. But many times it is not accountability. It is distance. It does not say, "I hurt you." It says, "Your feelings are the problem." It places the pain inside you, but removes the action from them. It turns your wound into your personal issue, and that is why it feels so cold. "I'm sorry you feel that way" can sometimes mean, "I do not accept that I caused this, but I want to sound like the bigger person." Another dangerous apology is, "I'm sorry, but." The moment "but" enters the apology, responsibility often starts leaving. "I'm sorry, but you made me angry." "I'm sorry, but you were overreacting." "I'm sorry, but you know how I am." "I'm sorry, but you should not have pushed me." That is not an apology. That is a blame transfer. They are not holding the wound, they are handing it back to you. A real apology does not need to punish you while pretending to heal you. A real apology does not use your reaction as an excuse for their behavior. A real apology does not say, "Look what you made me do." Because the moment someone makes you responsible for the harm they caused, they are not apologizing. They are rewriting the story. And if you are not careful, you will start believing their version. You will start thinking, maybe I did make them act that way. Maybe I should have stayed quieter. Maybe I should not have reacted. Maybe I deserved it. No, do not let a fake apology turn you into the villain of your own wound. Your reaction may not have been perfect, but their behavior still happened. Your tone may have been emotional, but their choice still matters. Your pain may be messy, but that does not erase what caused it. This is the third lesson. Fake apologies often target kind people because kind people are trained to forgive faster than they heal. Kind people hear sorry and immediately feel responsible for making the other person comfortable. They think, I do not want to be harsh. I do not want to hold a grudge. I do not want to make them feel bad. So they accept the apology before their heart is ready. They say, it's okay when it is not okay. They smile when they are still broken. They move on outside, while inside, the wound remains open, and the person who gave the fake apology learns something dangerous. They learn that your forgiveness is quick. They learn that your boundaries are soft. They learn that if they say the right word at the right time, they can reset the relationship without doing the work. That is how your kindness becomes a loophole. Not because kindness is weak, kindness is powerful, but kindness without boundaries becomes permission for the wrong person to keep hurting you. This is why you must learn to say something many people are afraid to say. I hear your apology, but I need to see change. That sentence is not cruel. It is mature. It is not revenge. It is self-respect. You can forgive someone in your heart and still not give them the same access. You can accept that they are human and still admit they are unsafe for your peace. You can wish them well and still choose distance. Because forgiveness does not mean pretending the pattern never happened. Forgiveness does not mean handing them the knife again because they said sorry for the last wound. Forgiveness does not mean becoming available to the same behavior in a softer voice. Sometimes forgiveness is quiet. Sometimes forgiveness is internal. Sometimes forgiveness means, I release the anger, but I will not return to the place that created it. And the person who only wanted access will hate that kind of forgiveness, because they did not apologize to heal. They apologized to come back. Here is where the truth becomes uncomfortable. A fake apology is not always easy to spot because it can sound beautiful. It can come with tears. It can come with long messages. It can come with emotional words. It can say, you mean everything to me. It can say, I cannot lose you. It can say, I promise I will change. But do not judge an apology by how emotional it sounds. Judge it by what happens after the emotion ends. Do they listen differently? Do they speak differently? Do they protect the boundary they once broke? Do they stop doing the thing they apologized for? Do they give you space to heal without demanding instant closeness? Do they accept consequences without calling you cold? That is where the truth lives. Not in the apology, after the apology. Because words are easy when someone is afraid. Change is hard when no one is watching. A person who is truly sorry will change even when you are calm again. A fake person only changes while they are losing you. And once they feel safe again, the old pattern returns. This is why some apologies feel like a trap. They pull you back just enough for the cycle to restart. And every time the cycle restarts, you trust yourself a little less. You ask, why did I believe them again? You start becoming angry at yourself. You start feeling embarrassed. You start hiding the situation from people who warned you. And slowly, their fake apology does not only damage your trust in them, it damages your trust in yourself. That is the real cost. The wound is not only what they did, the wound is how many times you abandoned your own wisdom after they said, sorry. The wound is how many times your inner voice said, something is wrong, and you silenced it because their apology sounded sincere. The wound is how many times you chose their potential over your peace. If this is hitting something deep, share this video with someone who keeps accepting apologies from the same person, not to shame them, to wake them up gently. Sometimes people do not need another lecture. They need one sentence that helps them see the pattern. And maybe this video is that sentence. Now, let's separate real apology from fake apology clearly. A real apology contains ownership. I did this. A fake apology contains escape. Mistakes were made. A real apology contains understanding. I see how this affected you. A fake apology contains minimization. It was not that serious. A real apology gives space. Take the time you need. A fake apology demands speed. Are you still mad? A real apology respects consequences. I understand why you need distance. A fake apology attacks consequences. So now you are punishing me? A real apology changes behavior. A fake apology changes tone. And tone can fool you. Behavior cannot. Never forget that. Some people can speak softly and still be unsafe. Some people can cry and still be selfish. Some people can say all the right words and still have no intention of becoming a different person. That does not mean you should distrust everyone. It means you should stop trusting words that are not supported by patterns. The lesson is not to become cold. The lesson is to become awake, to stop being impressed by apologies that only arrive when you are done, to stop confusing regret with discomfort, to stop letting someone's emotional performance erase the evidence of repeated behavior, because a person who truly values you does not only apologize after breaking you, they become careful not to keep breaking you. They do not say, "That is just how I am." They say, "That is something I need to work on." They do not say, "You know I love you." They show love by protecting the place where they once hurt you, and if they cannot do that, then the apology is only a sound. A beautiful sound maybe, a dramatic sound maybe, but still just a sound. Here is the darkest truth in this entire video. Some people use apologies the way others use keys, not to heal the door they broke, but to enter again. They say sorry because they know your heart has a soft lock. They know you want to believe in people. They know you hate giving up. They know you remember the good moments. They know you will question yourself before you question them. And so they apologize just enough to keep the door from closing. But one day, you must ask yourself, how many apologies does it take before you admit the apology is part of the pattern? How many sorries does it take before you stop counting words and start counting wounds? How many times can someone apologize for the same thing before the apology becomes proof they know exactly what they are doing? That question can change your life, because once you see the apology as part of the cycle, you stop being controlled by it. You stop melting at the first soft message. You stop reopening your heart because someone said they miss you. You stop confusing emotional language with emotional growth, and you begin to look for evidence. Quiet evidence, consistent evidence. The evidence of change. No begging, no chasing, no dramatic confrontation, just observation. Watch what they do when you do not immediately forgive. Watch what they do when your boundary remains. Watch what they do when their apology does not get them instant access. That is when the mask falls. A sincere person will respect your process. A fake person will resent your boundary. A sincere person will say, "I understand." A fake person will say, "You are making this difficult." A sincere person will become patient. A fake person will become offended. And their offense will reveal what their apology was really for, not healing. Access. This is why distance is sometimes the final test, not because you want to punish them, but because distance shows whether the apology was rooted in respect or need. If they respect you, they will allow the distance to teach them. If they only need you, they will try to break the distance with guilt. They will say, "After everything I did for you?" They will say, "So you are just going to leave?" They will say, "I said sorry. What more do you want?" And there it is. The truth. They thought sorry was a payment. They thought one word should buy back everything. But your peace is not for sale. Your trust is not cheap. Your heart is not a room people can destroy and then re-enter because they knocked politely. There must be change. There must be responsibility. There must be respect for the damage. And if those things are missing, the apology is incomplete. So what do you do when someone gives you a fake apology? You do not need to argue. You do not need to prove it is fake. You do not need to deliver a speech they will twist. You simply stop rewarding words without change. You say less. You watch more. You protect your access. You let time reveal the truth. Because time is the enemy of fake apologies. Fake apologies want speed. Real change can survive patience. Let them show you who they are after the apology. Not for one day, not for one emotional night, but consistently. Because consistency is the language of truth. And if they cannot speak that language, stop translating their excuses into hope. You have done that long enough. The final lesson is simple, but it is not easy. A real apology repairs. A fake apology resets. A real apology builds a new pattern. A fake apology restarts the old one. A real apology respects the wound. A fake apology gets annoyed that the wound still exists. And once you understand this, you stop accepting apologies that only change the conversation. You start requiring apologies that change the behavior. That is not bitterness. That is wisdom. That is not cruelty. That is self-respect. That is not holding the past against someone. That is refusing to let the past keep repeating itself under a different excuse. So the next time someone says sorry, do not only listen to the word, listen to the energy, listen to the ownership, listen to what they do when you do not immediately make them comfortable. Listen to what changes after the apology, and most importantly, listen to yourself. If your heart still feels unsafe, do not ignore that feeling just because their words sound beautiful. Your peace has already paid too much for fake apologies. Your mind has already carried too much confusion. Your heart has already reopened too many doors for people who only return to repeat the same lesson. So this time, choose differently. Accept the apology if it is real. Reject the pattern if it is not. Forgive if your soul needs freedom. But do not confuse forgiveness with permission. Do not confuse sorry with safety. Do not confuse regret with transformation. Because the dark lesson hidden inside every fake apology is this: some people are not sorry they hurt you. They are sorry the pain finally made you harder to control. And when you understand that, you stop waiting for better words. You start waiting for better behavior. Comment: words are not enough. If you have ever accepted an apology that changed nothing, like this video if it gave you clarity about someone in your life. And subscribe to The Hidden Hurts for more videos about dark psychology, human behavior, self-respect, hidden motives, emotional intelligence, betrayal, and the painful truths people only understand after they finally wake up. Remember this before you go. A real apology does not ask you to forget the wound. It helps make sure the wound never happens again. And if their apology cannot do that, then maybe it was never an apology. Maybe it was only another way to keep you close.